כל השנה הלכות בכל יום, בעזרת השם מובטח לו שהוא בן ערובה. First of all, לחיים, תזכרו בעזרת השם, אריכות ימים, בעזרת השם, thank you for the עלייה, רבי שלמה, הקדוש ברוך הוא give you a lot of הצלחה בעזרת השם. What did he say? The Gematria was הצלה, הצלה בעזרת השם, בשנה בחסודה בעזרת השם. בעזרת השם, this year you have to know that it doesn't, the prognosis doesn't look good at all. The Chazal tell us that a year that Rosh Hashanah falls on Shabbat, you have to be very, very, very scared. You know, imagine yourself, a month of Elul, everybody has to be concerned, right? We're going to be standing judgment. And now you have to be even double scared, even triple scared. Why? Because the Rosh Hashanah, when it falls on Shabbat, it is not the best thing for Am Yisrael. Because there is no shofar blowing on the first day. That's right. And it's Chazal say you have to be very diligent in our tefillah. If anything, every year you have to be diligent in your tefillah. But but especially this year, the whole slichot, the whole month Elul, with the Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, you have to be so wow.
Yes,
you have to be the dog. Yes, you have to be doeg. Yeah, you have to be very much worried. Bezat Hashem, Hashem should help us to have proper kavanah in slichot, to have proper tefillah in Rosh Hashanah, tefillot, and Yom Kippur, and Hashem should be Magen Al Amo Yisrael to save the Jewish nation, especially in the year of the next year, Tafshin Pei Dalet, where the prognosis from the globalists is very horrible. They have a lot of bad intentions, and they know they're not stupid. They know, right? They're not stupid. They know what they're doing. These globalists, they know the whole Torah Kula. They know the whole Torah Kula, and they know the worst year for the Jews is when Rosh Hashanah falls.
How they know?
They know much more than you when you think. They know so much Torah. Hashem should have Rahamanut on us, of course. Hitler knew the whole Torah, the whole Shas. What are you talking about? Haman knew Shas left and right. Whatever we don't know, they know.
Oh.
Okay? They know so much Torah, you have to be very careful. That's how. You can't hurt the Jewish people unless you're going to use Torah against them. In the next year, unfortunately, I'm telling you right now, gentlemen, we have to wake up, litorer, and I don't like to predict doom and gloom, but this is the Lashon of Chazal. This is, and especially now, the Goyim are publicly saying, the Goyim are publicly want to do what they're doing. And right now, by the way, if you're getting reports, I'm getting reports all over the world. The childbirth went down, big time. It's does not look good. Let's wake up and daven properly and learn on time. Learn more at night, starim, more and more. We have to push as much as possible. If we pushed last year 10%, this year we should be pushing 25-30%. Without any delay, B'ezrat Hashem. B'ezrat Hashem, we're just going to hail l'chaim because over here somebody brought, but still, we have to mitorer. Baruch atah Adonai. אלוהינו בין העולם שהכל. נהיה בדרום.
זאת אומרת, המן הינו עוד תורה.
That's right. So let's start. Today's shiur B'ezrat Hashem is sponsored. L'ilui nishmat Aharon ben Moshe. אבא שלך? נו?
לא אזכרה. רבי שמעון.
שמעון בן?
בן איזה.
בן אבא.
אבא שלי בן...
סבא שלך. שמעון בן?
יוסף.
בעזרת השם, להבדיל בין החיים, לרפואה שלמה לכל חולי עמו ישראל ובכללם, ליעקב ישראל דניאל בן אנג'לה, יוסף במברד, חיה בת לאה, ניסים בשמחה, יוסף בשמחה, שלמה בשמחה, יעקב בן רחל, אברהם בן שרה, רפואה שלמה לכל חולי עמו ישראל. Only good news. בעזרת השם, it says like this, שלא להרחיק זרע עשיו אחר שיתגיירו. So you have children of Esav, the Edomites, the Redskins, all the Redskins, all the Redheads, all those, what's his name? The Goyim, the Esav, the Christians. Right? Sounds like all of them, I don't know, only children of Esav. We are prohibited to push them away. שלא נמנע מתחתן עמהם, שאין בהם איסור כמו בעמון ומואב. It's to teach you that they don't have the same prohibition as yesterday. We spoke about two nations, Ammon and Moab, the ungrateful ones. Right? Here, Ela mutarin hen achar shnei dorot. So after 2 generations of Esav's children specifically, Esav's children or grandchildren converting to Judaism, 3rd generation you're allowed to marry. Meaning, like this, a father, Gaer, right? So he got married to Gioret. So father and mother, let's say. So that's one generation. Their child is the second generation. The grandchild you're allowed to marry to the Jewish nation. Only third generation allowed to get married to Jewish girl.
The Jewish girl.
Not all Christians. I said just the children of Esav. Only children of Esav, and right now we're talking about. No, Ishmael right away you're allowed to marry. Ishmael you're allowed to marry right away. Indians, anybody you want, China, anybody right away we could marry. Here he's talking about specifically if you know whoever the children of Esav are, that would be a prohibition to marry them the first time. But over here it's not a prohibition. Over here it's prohibition to push them away after the third generation. It says over there in Dvarim, Habibi. Okay, Baba Sari, I know. It's Arak is always Baba Sari. So it's like Baba Sari gave blessings on all the Arak from the beginning of the world to the end, right? It says in chapter 23, Pasuk 8, Lo tita'ev adomei ki achicha hu. We're prohibited to hate our Edomites because they are our brothers. Banim asher yardu lahem dor shelishi yavo lahem b'kal Hashem. Only after they did tshuva, after they did gerut, now the third generation, as I described to you, the father, child, and the grandchildren you're allowed to marry already. V'dor shelishi hu ben beno shel hager. It's talking about the child of a ger. V'amru zichronom levracha in Mitzvoth Yebamot, page 78, first side. Shemitzrit me'uberet shenitgayera be'oda me'uberet bana. הוא נקרא שני, אף על פי שהורנה בעוד שהם מצרית. We learned the next mitzvah also connected Mitzrim. What happened was like this. Right. So the Esav's children in the next mitzvah, 564, also related to this mitzvah, the Egyptians, the same thing. What happens is they come to Bidgaya. So he says, let's say a woman of a Mitzrit, a woman, or Esav, the same thing, and she was pregnant already before they did the Gerut. Right? She's pregnant while they're doing the Gerut. Very nice. Now she gives birth. That child is already Dor Sheni. Because the Gerut is father and mother. The child is already Dor Sheni. Now Dor Shlishi, that child's child is allowed to marry your daughter. No?
Only Mitzrayim ve'Esav.
That's right.
Arabim.
It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. No, the Chidush is here. It's even more. She was pregnant before she became a ger. That's the Chidush. Even though she was pregnant before she became a ger, that child is already still considered to be Dor Sheni. Okay, not a problem. Shoresh mitzvah. But once again, but if she got married, let's say father and mother gerut, and they had children, they did gerut. Those children are considered Dor Rishon. If they had children, father and mother Egyptian and Esav's children, they had children before they did gerut. They did gerut with their children. So obviously the children are gerim right now, the Chadashim, Olei Chadashim, until the second generation. And the third generation, you have to wait, yeah?
What do you mean? Today you can get anywhere.
Again, one more time. If a mother and father did gerut, they have an older son or a daughter. That daughter is not allowed to marry a Jew. They're allowed to marry?
Because she is a daughter.
What? Esav. Yeah, mutar. Esav and Mitzri only we're talking about. Right. Okay, Esav and Mitzri. Ishmael mutar. I told you Chinese mutar. למה ככה? הכל מותר. The Torah, דווקא at this people. Okay, because where Amalek coming from?
Esav.
Even Amalek did Gerut, you're allowed to accept them. That's right. Shoresh mitzvah nigla. The reason of this mitzvah is כי הוא להודיענו שלא נתנהג באיסור עם זרע אדום, לא נרחקם בקל וחומר מפני עמון לומר, אמנון הוא בשביל פעם אחת שלא קדמו אותנו בלחם ומים, ירחקנו הער מהם, אדומים ומצריים שצערו את ישראל כמה על אחת כמה וכמה. What's going on here? The problem over here, the mitzvah of this purpose, the prohibition over here is prohibition not to marry him. It's a prohibition to deny the marriage to them. You hear what's going on? It's meaning the Torah is telling us no, but we're hearing yes. Meaning, Torah is telling you, here you are prohibited not to marry them. Meaning, you cannot say, I'm not going to marry Gerim. I'm not going to marry this. What kind of language is this? You'd be surprised. Oh, Gerim are not 100% Jewish. What do you mean not 100% Jewish? Who told you that?
Now too.
Okay. Yeah, Rabbi Akiva came from Gerim. Even today. We're talking about Chashov people. Yeah, Rab Meir Balanes, so much. The Gemara is full of the Rabbanim who are from the Gerim. It's not a simple thing. Okay? Hakam. That's the way it is. Baruch Hashem. Now, so therefore, here the Kadosh Baruch Hu says, you might say, Amonu Moab, they did something bad to us once, and Torah prohibited them to marry us forever. So you might say, these guys, Egyptians, you know how many children they slaughtered? How many parents and mothers and fathers they separated? This Rashaim, you know how much Tarot they gave to us? Maybe you should not ever marry us, Hashem says. So Hashem, in order to prevent such a kal v'chomer, such a learning, Hashem doesn't want us to be such a people, to take vengeance. Hashem came and says to us, don't do vengeance, let them marry into your families up to the third generation.
For girls, men.
Adomi, Umitzrayid, Tzaru Israel, okay? Arken. כי הבודן ששעבדו הם בנו גזירת השם היא עלינו ואין לנו לקרוא עליהם שנאת בלבבנו על כך ואכן יקראו בהתגיירם ובאוהם לחסות תחת כנפי השכינה. This that they hear, the rabbi says, why we're prohibited to take revenge on the Egyptians and Esav, Adamim? Why? Because whatever they caused us suffering, it's gzerah from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It was a gzerah from HaKadosh Baruch Hu for what? For our avirot. If we do the avirot, we have punishment. If we don't do the avirot, so what's the problem of Mitzri? What's the problem of Esav's children? No problem at all. The problem is over there, Amonu Moav. U'ba'amonu Moav tamachera sinatan. But we have a reason why to hate them. V'hu inyan הנבלה הגדולה אשר מצאו לבבם לעשות הכל כמו שכתבתי למעלה בסמוך, as we already explained, Mitzvoth 561. They have this achzariyut, this unfortunate midah of rejecting midah tova. Avraham Avinu saved them. Avraham Avinu gave them everything, and Avraham Avinu, because of Avraham Avinu, they're alive. Because Lot was not going to survive from Sodom and Gomorrah. He was chayav mitah. So because of Zchut Avraham Avinu, as it says over there, it's called Hashem Avraham, right? Hashem remembered Avraham, and because of him, we Yitzir Lot. So the whole survival of a Lot's nation is because of what? Ammon and Moab? Is because of Avraham Avinu, because of our father. So you don't even care for us? Say something at least. No. Come help us. You know we're waging wars right now. Come help us to fight against the 32 nations in Eretz Israel. Nothing. Rashaim. Rashaim Kaele. We don't want them in our midst. That is over there because of Ra'atam. But Esav and Mitzrim, Esav, Amalek. What happened with Amalek? You know what happened with Amalek? You know what happened why Amalek came? Why? Because the mother, Tamar, she wanted to marry to the Jewish nation. Right? There was a girl, Tamar, not Tamar. There's another Jewish girl that wanted to marry Abraham. He said no. Yitzchak said no. Yaakov said no. Children of Yaakov. None of them said yes. Who took her? Who took her? Esav. Eliphaz took her. And she had such a hatred. She made Amalek. And Amalek has a hatred to Am Israel. Okay? So, whenever it says in the Torah, clearly, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to what? To Esav, Yitzchak Avinu says, when Yaakov Avinu is misbehaving, what happens? Esav, Yadot, Ya'alelina, come Esav and punish us. That was the whole point of Torah. How are we going to make sure the Jewish people stay straight? So we can't have anything against them. It all depends on us. We are the ones who blame. When we get hurt.
Amalek is coming when we are like down.
That's right. When we go against Hashem, Amalek comes. And that's Esav also. Anytime Esav, today all the Christians, they're doing as I said, all the strongholds, all over the world where they had this problem with the mandates and people wanted to go through experiments to stay alive. You go to the bank, you have to go through experiment. All this, where was it? Where was all the harm to the Jewish people, the world, to the whole world? Wherever the Christians had the strongholds. So when the Christians are doing the evil things, that means what? We are we are at fault. We are at fault. Whenever they had, and if you have Chas v'Shalom by Ishmaelim, same thing. If by Ishmaelim or Esav, if they're all attacking us, it's all our fault. So there is no reason to hate them. However, Ammon and Moab, people who are kfui tova, people who don't appreciate the goodness that was done to them, those will push away. מדיני המצווה, מה שאמרו זכרונם לברכה, מצרי שנשא מצרית נתגיירו, בעודה מעוברת הובלת שני. We already said that even if they got if they were pregnant before they did Gerut, Mitzri and Mitzrayim, right? So the child was already number 2. Shenimar Banim Hashem Yodu Lahem, because the Torah tells us Banim Sheyodu Lahem. So now that she became Gerut, even though she was pregnant, but technically speaking, the child was born after Gerut. So that's already considered the second generation. הכתוב תלן בלידה, וגר שעמוני שנשא מצרית, Havalad Amoni. Hear what's going on here? Here's the rules. This is Shlomo. So Amoni, let's say you have a ger Amoni. Okay, if Ammon wants to become a ger, let him become a ger. The question is, can they marry to a Jewish girl? No. So what happens is like this. So now what happened is, Ammon, he gave birth, or she gets pregnant to Mitzrayim girl, get married to, and she gives child. So what is that over there? Havlad Ammonit. Okay. Ger Mitzri. No, sorry. Ger Ammoni marries a Mitzri, the child is Ammoni. Over there it goes after the father. Right? Ger Ammoni marries a Mitzri. So the child is Ammoni. Right? So maybe the same way that we have over here. Sephardi boy marries Ashkenazi girl, the child is? Sephardi. Okay. Mitzri shenasa Ammonit, Havlad Mitzri. So, however, Mitzri, the father is a Mitzri, but the mother is Ammonit, the child is Mitzri. Ze הכלל. בהומות לבדם הלך אחר הזכר. So anything that has to do with nations, it's going to go after the men. וכמו שמצאנו שנתחייסו בכתוב אחר הזכרים. As we see that the Torah over there, that it goes after the males. שנאמר, that the yichus, the lineage goes after the father. I think it looks like, yeah, same thing. Yes, Sephardi Abba, Ima Ashkenazia. So Sephardi child is Sephardi. Abba Ashkenazi, Ima Sephardiya, child is Ashkenazi. Nusach Ashkenaz. It says Uday Beladam Belad. Okay, Nitgairu halach achar hapachot. So it's always going to go up to the linear. ויתר פרטי המצווה במבוארים בפרק שמיני. Okay, ונוהג את אסור זה, שנמנעו מרחקם אחר שנתגיירו בכל מקום בכל זמן, וזכרים מן הכיוון. It doesn't matter. This prohibition will be everywhere. But however, today we don't have that knowledge. We don't have that anymore. Today, any ger you have, even if from Egypt, let's say you have Egyptian become a ger today, no problem, you could get married, even to him. Let's say a ger Mitzrayim from Egypt today, he wants to marry Bat Israel, no problem, marry Bat Israel. We already said yesterday, there is no Mitzri, there is no Ammoni. We don't know anybody. We don't know anything. והוא הזה והסכים בדעתו שלא להתחתן בם, אפילו אחר שני דורות, מצד שעצר על ישראל, או מצד שקבע בלבו של סיני עמהם מפני שבאו מאומה אחרת, עבר עליו זה. So a Jew who says, I'm not going to marry a Giorit, or I'm not going to allow my children to marry Gerim, Chas v'shalom, he transgresses this Avera. Yeah? Mitzvot 564. What do you want to say quickly?
Our family, we don't get married.
So your family is gonna. If you say those words again, you just now. If you're not marrying Gerim, huh? The only families are not allowed to that are allowed to say, what? That's their problem. Syrians have their own problems. It says clearly here, the only families not allowed to break their kavod are people of high lineage. Kohanim could say we're not marrying Gerim, they're allowed to. And Nasi, Beit Nasi, honorable people. Honorable people are allowed to say we're not marrying to Gerim because we want the lineage of Am Israel. No problem. Nobody else. But if anybody who says I'm not allowing my children to marry Gerim is over Isur Deoraita.
Yeah, you have to marry.
Huh?
You have to marry.
You don't have to marry, but if the shidduch, you cannot tell the shadchan they want Gerim.
So you mean it's no problem if you get with the Geri?
What's the problem? What should be a problem? What should be a problem?
It's better.
Rabbi Akiva, the whole Torah today. You see that whole thing? Hello. Shlomo. Stop. Excuse me, Shlomo. Only one. Hey, Papa. I talk only, not you. Turn around. You see those books over there? You see this? Hold on. You see that over there? Everything here we have in this Sfarim, this is nothing. I'll take you to a library. Rabbi Avad Yosef had 140,000 Sfarim. All of the Sfarim were there from Rabbi Akiva.
But sometimes when you marry with the Goya.
Yeah.
80,000.
That's not 40,000, 80,000, doesn't matter. Whatever it is, I'll tell you to the library. It's all from Rabbi Akiva, the whole Torah. The whole Torah today we have Rabbi Akiva. So how can you say, oh, I don't want my family to get married to Gerim? Who are you? What kind of nonsense is this?
Because they have minhag שלהם.
What?
מה בכבשה?
What?
איזה ספרים עברו בכבשה?
The whole Torah today we have from Rabbi Akiva. The whole world was shamem. There's nobody learning Torah. Everybody dead. Everybody was killed. Rabbi Akiva, the whole Torah today is from Rabbi Akiva. You're not going to see one page in Gemara without Rabbi Akiva's name. Come on. The whole Torah is Torah. So a Kohen could say, I don't want my lineage to get there. I don't want to get him. Okay, good. But that's it. Today we don't
So
have
if
a
we
seat.
get a girl, no problem. It's good.
Hazud get married already. Let's go. 564.
Some say this is
שלא להרחיק, listen, רבי משה has to go to work. שלא להרחיק מצרי כמו כן, אלא עד דור שלישי ולא שלישי בכלל. You're not allowed to prohibit, we are prohibited to push away the Egyptians until the third generation. As it says in the Torah, לא תתעב מצרי כי גר היית בארצו. We hold them הכרת הטוב, כי גר היית. Even though they come to punish us and they hurt us and all those things, all those, you know who got hurt? You know that Shevi Levi did not get hurt at all? How do we know? It says in the Pasuk, כאשר יענו אותו כן ירבה וכן יפרוץ. Whichever Shevet had the most children, you know, those that are the ones that suffered more. The less ones, the less. How many children Shevet Levi had? 22,000. How many had Dan? 74,000. How come Dan had the most? You know how come Dan and Yehuda? You know why Dan and Yehuda had the most? Because Dan and Yehuda were the big mouths. They were the big chiefs. Dan killed Esav. So with one hit. With one hit he killed Esav. Hushin, Dan's child, one child. He came to Mitzrayim with one child. Hushin. He killed Esav with one hit. All the Egyptians were scared of him. So they tortured him. The more they torture him. The more they torture him, the Pasuk says, the more children he had. Yehuda, he was the big shot. He talked to Yosef like he wanted to kill him. So the Egyptians were afraid of him. So Yehuda was the next one in line. Since Yehuda was just talking, but he was a Gibor. They were afraid of him, the Egyptians. They oppressed him more. Who didn't they oppress? Who they did not oppress? Levi. Levi was quiet, sitting and learning Torah all day. The Egyptians didn't bother him. Who had the least children? Shevet Levi.
Yeah.
You would think the other way around. You would think the other way around. You would think a person who's relaxed. It says over there that person who travels in Egypt in the desert, he cannot have children. Why? Because he's tarut. Right? The person is tarut, he can't have children. Here you see that what? The people who were not so tarut, they didn't have children.
How come Levi, Paro, he was no slave?
Because they didn't fall into his trap.
Huh?
They didn't fall into his trap.
What do you mean?
They didn't run after him. Oh, the mayor said we have to do something, we have to do it. They don't do it. They didn't take money from him, they didn't do nothing. They sit and learn. You don't understand.
How come he give
Yosef was so chacham. Yosef said, whoever stays in Goshen never works. Don't have to work ever. What happened? The Jewish people sit quietly. Come on. You know Jewish people sit quietly? You ever saw such a thing? Let me know if you find. What happened? They smelled money, business. Paro said, I give you business, come. He tricked them. So they came out of Goshen. It was a chok et Paro. It was a chok. Anyone who lives in Goshen never works in his life. Never worked one day in his life. So what did Paro do? To get the tricks out. He tricked the Jews to go out. They came out of Goshen. The moment you go out of Goshen, halas, finished, they got stuck. The Levi never left the Goshen. They always left. That's why they're like this. Yeah. But anyway, let's see here. As it says in the Torah, we were gerim in his land, and they allowed us to stay alive, even though they tried to hurt us, but it's all because of us. We know, therefore there's a prohibition, as we already discussed the same way till now. We're not telling you that you're obligated to marry them. The Torah is not commanding us to go marry gerim. That's not what Hashem wants. However, if you have a choshma families like the kings, children of David HaMelech, or Kohanim, they should not get married to the Egyptians. אבל ימנעו הכתוב מהרחיק החתונים בטענת איסור וידיעון. So anybody who says I'm not marrying gerim, I don't want my family to marry gerim today, is over האיסור דאורייתא of this prohibition. That they're playing games with the Chas v'Shalom, it's not good to go that game. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu should give you bracha. You have to make panasa, make it b'shefa, b'nachal, b'shalva, without any tzarot.